This is going to be an academic video. Some of you guys wanted more details regarding my statement that the hadith, the companions are like shining stars, is not something that we should be quoting. I do understand that there are some scholars who have made a case that maybe it is quotable. But let me take this opportunity to teach a rule on usul al-hadith. Imam Ibn Salah, he mentions in his book Muqaddamah Ibn Salah that you can only corroborate weak ahadith when the reason for the weakness is stuff like the narrator has bad memory. You cannot corroborate weak ahadith when the reason for the weakness is like the person has been accused of lying, when it's severe, right? So many people mention that this hadith, Ashabi kan nujum, my companions are like shining stars, بِأَيِّهِمْ اِقْتَدَيْتُمْ اِهْتَدَيْتُمْ, whichever one you can follow, you will be guided, was narrated from like 10 Sahaba. And therefore, it is corroborated. But let's go through these narrations, right? So there are some narrators from Ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma, but all of the narrations that are from Ibn Umar and Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, well, first of all, Ibn Umar, all of them are based on Hamza bin Abi Hamza, who is muttaham bil wada' and matruk. He has been accused of fabricating a hadith. So this chain is not strong enough for you to use as corroboration. Then you get the narration from Jabir radiallahu anhu. Now there's two chains. The first chain has Salam bin Sulaiman in it, who is muda'af, right? And then he hears this narration from Harith bin Husayn, who is majhul al-hal, right? He's not known to the scholars of hadith, who hears from A'mash, from Abu Sufyan. It's also very strange that a big teacher like A'mash has only one person quoting from him, Harith bin Husayn, who is majhul, like no one really knows him. And on top of that, Bazar says that A'mash never met Abu Sufyan, therefore this is munqati', the chain is not connected. So you can see it's a very weak chain. The second chain from Jabir radiallahu anhu has many narrators in it that are majhul al-hal, that are not known to the scholars of hadith. Then we can look at the narration or the chains from Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. All of them are based on Ja'far bin Abdul Wahid al-Hashimi. Ibn Hibban says about him, كان ممن يصدق الحديث ويقلب الأخبار. He was amongst those people that used to steal narrations. يروي المتن الصحيح الذي مشهور بطريق واحد. He will find a narration that is, everyone knows, and kind of make his own sanad for it. And just run with that, right? So you can see, like, he's been accused of lying. You can't use him. Narrations from Umar radiallahu anhu, narration includes Nu'aym bin Hammad from Abdul Rahim bin Zayd al-Ammi from his dad Zayd al-Ammi. Nu'aym is controversial as is, but the main problem with this is Abdul Rahim. Imam Bukhari says, Tarakuhu, the scholars of hadith have left him. Abu Hatim says about him, Aturika hadithuhu kana yufsidu abahu, kana yuhadithu anhu bit-tammat. That his hadiths are not accepted, to the point that he even made his father, Zayd al-Ammi, be someone who you can't accept, because he would make up all sorts of claims in a hadith on behalf of his father. And even in this narration, Abdul Rahim kept changing the words. So he was like muttarib regarding this hadith as well. Also in this chain, Musayyab is quoting from Umar radiallahu anhu when he never met Umar radiallahu anhu. There are other chains from Anas radiallahu anhu. In this chain, there are three weak narrators in a row. So you have Salam from Zayd, from Yazid. This Zayd is the same Zayd al-Ammi that was in the last one, the father. So, like Salam is Wahin, Zaid is very weak, and Yazid. So you have three weak narrators in a row. All of these chains, as you can see so far, are very, very weak. From Ibn Abbas, we have two narrations. The first one is the one that I mentioned early on. It's based on Hamza bin Abi Hamza, very, very weak. Muttaham, he's been accused of making up narrations, I believe. Muttaham bil Wada, exactly. And the second chain is based on Juwaybir, muttafaq ala du'afihi, right? Like the scholars have all agreed on him being weak. And Juwaybir, you have three different narrators who narrate from him, and all three of them have a different version of the hadith. So as you can see, even though you have all these chains going back, if you remember the rule that Ibn Salah tells us, you can only use as corroborating evidence when the weakness is something like, oh, this person has a weak memory. But when there's extreme weakness, like the person is accused of lying, you cannot use them as corroborating evidence. I do understand I'm not a specialist in hadith. I might have butchered this explanation. I'm just sharing my notes.